Smokejumper survives when both chutes fail, by Bob Garrard, McCall, 49. One Saturday morning in the summer of 1950, at Smokejumper's camp in Idaho, Reed Jackson, my usual jumping partner, wanted to go to the Smokejumper camp in Idaho City and contact a buddy there. I had brought my Taylorcraft airplane that summer to get some airtime and have a little fun. So we agreed to fly down for the day. We had a great day with the guys at the camp and took off a little later than we had planned. As we flew north, the sky darkened and it was close to being very dark as we neared the Cascade, the town of Cascade, which is just about 15 miles south of McCall. I told Reed I didn't relish the idea of landing in pitch dark. Around the time we were approaching Cascade, the moon went behind a cloud, leaving us in almost darkness, and we had made a landing at the little field, just clearing the telephone and power lines. At the south end of the runway, we hardly felt the wheels touch the ground. I said, hell, that was the best landing I ever made. Reed shot back with a grin. The reason is you couldn't see what you were doing. We left the plane in Cascade and hitched a ride the short distance to the camp in McCall. Sunday morning arrived and the jumper buddies were lounging around the barracks after a Saturday night in McCall. Oh, the memories of any night in McCall. I said, hey, will anyone give us a ride down to Cascade to get my plane? I think Scotty Levon said, let's go down and free fall. Now he was the Albertson's CEO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Scotty Levon Scott. When Webb mentioned that there were some spotter chutes in the loft that could be used, so Scotty, Reed, and I got one. Kenny Roth was a jumper then and was trained pilot, so he volunteered to fly us for the free falls. Kenny later became a member of the Flyers Hall of Fame as a pilot with Johnson's Flying Service in Missoula. The entire camp showed a whole cadre of cars with rowdy guys.
No.
After a 15-mile ride to Cascade, the head foreman, Lloyd Johnson, was there Sunday So we were off and running for an interesting day. When we arrived, we drew straws to see what our jump turns would be. Scotty drew number 1, Reed drew number 2, and I drew number 3. Of course, there was a little competition as to who could fall the longest. Oh, God. Oh. Kenny,
influencing you.
Kenny took each of us up around 3,200 feet. Scotty was first, did his fall and opened his chute. Unfortunately, the wind was blowing quite hard, so that also he was guiding it nicely. Scotty's chute oscillated him, swinging him like a pendulum, so that he hit the ground. Instead of landing on his feet, his body slammed hard to the landing in front of a cheering crowd of jumpers, splitting his new pair of jeans.
Oh no!
I heard later that he went to the local Merc store where he had bought them and received a new pair after complaining that they were faulty.
That's great.
He was a crazy guy. He was. We called him idiot.
Oh, damn.
Oh. Reed was next to fall, and by then the wind was giving him fits as he successfully guided his chute in. Fortunately, he was wearing a leather jacket, and it took the brunt of the heavy scraping during his landing. The wind was increasing even more, and I was next to fall. Kenny got the Taylorcraft up to altitude, giving me the signal and yell, "Get the hell out of here." And he did. I reached and grabbed the strut, then let go, up 1,000, 2,000, wherever. I was determined to fall the other two. I finally pulled my cord and no shock. I quickly looked up. Some lines were overblown and ripped panels of the chute. I was falling fast. "Bob, pull your emergency chute," I heard myself mumble. When I did, it tried to open, but then proceeded to wrap around the main chute. This is it, I thought, while trying to get emergency chute to unravel and deploy properly, when wham, mush, gurgle, God saved my life. I had plunged feet first in the Cascade River, and I thought, had my legs crumbled, and why no pain? My landing was fortunate in the center of the river, but the muddy shallows of the edge. I was waist high in water, and my boots were about 2 feet of muck down mud. The guys raced across and appeared over the hill. Wayne Webb was yelling, "Are you all right?" I was busy pulling the chute so that they wouldn't drag me downstream.
Wow.
Attached to them. I don't recall who, in addition to Webb, sloshed in the water, mud up to me, and retrieved the chutes, but man, was I happy to see him. When we got back to the camp, there had been a call for fire jump, but no one was there or anywhere to be found. That could have been the end of tenure as jumpers with Forest Service, but there were too many of us involved. They couldn't kick us all out.
Wow.
The guys in the parachute later came to the conclusion that my chute's tensile strength was poor because it was an old spotter chute and that got by inspections.
Wow. Wow.
To this day, there has been no smoke jumper in McCall camp who has lost both of his chutes and lived to tell about it.
That's true.
Oh.
Wow. You didn't break a leg?
Huh?
You didn't break a leg?
No, I slushed in the mud.
Wow. Wow.
God. And I remember a 9-year-old from the cook's daughter asked me to fly her around, and I flew over the lake and so on, and I just loved that plane. It's a 46 Tailbacker. Oh.
So Eric, the moral of the story is don't try that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's inspections of gear
Yes.
is very high priority.